Hello there, I'm Thomas Hatsios, the pilot captain flying the Boeing 777-300 ERX international flight from Zurich International Airport. We're going to be overflying Zurich, Switzerland, Germany, and then coming back to Switzerland, Zurich International Airport, runway 14 for landing. I lost localizer landing, so right now I'm in the cockpit for the pre-takeoff preparation of the Boeing 777-300 ERX of the PMDG simulation and the Microsoft Flight Simulator X. So I'm gonna show you the cockpit instruments and the displays and how to use them and how set up the flight plan using the flight management computer, input the route and the aircraft data, and then make an engine start demonstration and fly the aircraft for a small flight. So I'm gonna start with the primary flight display. I will show you what the primary flight display displays, and the navigation display, the upper and the lower ACAS display, and the autopilot and flight director system panel display with the thrust levers and the flight control system. And also in the overhead panel I will show you the electrical, the hydraulics, the ADIRU, the air data and reference unit, the primary flight control computers, the hydraulic pumps from the left and the right engine, the IDG, the brake drive generators for alternating, and then the fuel system, the electronic engine control for the engines with the auto start, the fuel tanks and pumps, and also the wing and engine and the ice, the air conditioning system with the cabin pressurization system, and the bleed air from the engines and the APU, the pressurizer you use for hydraulic pressurization, wing and engine at the ice, air conditioning, and also for cabin pressurization. So I'm gonna show you all these systems. I will start with the primary flight display. I will show you the airspeed display, the barometric altitude above the sea level, the rate of climb and descent, needle and tape for the rate of climb and descent of the aircraft in tens, hundreds or thousands of feet per minute, the radio altitude above the ground level, the ground speed, the barometric pressure of the outside atmosphere, the magnetic heading of the track. We have the magnetic North Pole and the true North Pole and the magnetic variation. We also have the airspeed, the target airspeed selected from the autopilot and flight director system panel displayed with purple on the display, and the target altitude for the autopilot and flight director system panel displayed also with purple. So we also have the flight director or the autopilot command modes with the flight director crossbars and the autopilot crossbars and the pitch ladder in degrees, and also the bank angle in degrees in the attitude indicator of the aircraft. Also the horizontal switches indicating the HSI and the flight mode annunciator with the autopilot and the auto throttle command modes for the lateral and vertical navigation of the aircraft. And also we have the navigation display. The navigation display displays the position reference, the inertial position with the GPS position of the aircraft, the airport that we are located right now, the runway is going to use for takeoff and departure fixes and waypoints, and also the arrival runway and airport and runway and fixes, and the ILS localizer. So we're gonna create our route using the flight management computer. It's gonna be displayed in the navigation display. The navigation display also displays other data like the airports, the waypoints, the navigation aids, the ADF, the board station, the NDBs, and also other aircraft flying around our aircraft using the TCAL system, the traffic collision and alert system. We can see the direction and the altitude of other aircraft flying around us displayed with the diamonds, and also we have the terrain, the weather radar, and the terrain reflections from the weather radar. We have the terrain levels displayed with green, yellow, and red. I will show you now. We also have the magnetic heading on track, the ground speed of the aircraft, the wing airspeed and direction, and also the next waypoint we have to find in the RNP and ANP, the required navigation performance and the acquired navigation performance of the aircraft. So I'm gonna show you. Here is the primary flight display, here is the navigation display, here is the autopilot and flight director system panel. Here's the thrust levers, the flight control system. So we have pretty much more than 1 hour for this flight. I'm gonna show you also the autopilot and flight director system panel and displays. So you can see here we have the primary flight display. The displays the airspeed here indicated, the minimum airspeed indicated 30 knots. The ground speed is actually 0. The target altitude above, the target airspeed actually selected from the autopilot and flight director system panel over here is 200 knots. The barometric altitude above the sea level is 1,430 feet, and the target altitude selected is 10,000 feet. So we have the vertical rate of climb and descent also here in tens, hundreds and thousands of feet per minute. We have the pitch ladder with the flight director here and the bank angle limit. We have the horizontal situation indicator, magnetic heading or through the track, and also we have the radio altitude above the ground level over here to feed the pitch ladder in degrees, and the flight director with the LNAV, the lateral navigation and the vertical navigation. So we have the flight director or autopilot here displayed, and the modes from the auto throttle and the autopilot mode. So we have the barometric pressure settings here, 39.92 inches of mercury, or you can set it as hectopascals over here and set the barometric altitude as you are assigned by the air traffic control. So you have 1013 hectopascal right now, which is the standard barometric pressure. So you can change this in the FS electronic flight instrument panel, and this is for calculating the barometric altitude and the airspeed, the dynamic airspeed and the rate of climb and descent. So all these displays the attitude indicator. We have the inertial reference position, also the magnetic north pole and the true north pole. All these are being supplied by this small switch over here via the air data inertial reference unit over here that supplies air data, barometric and manometric data, some calculations like over here. So you have a display over here. So you have the air data of the aircraft. You have also the inertial positioning, 2 or 3 GPS receivers over here. The ADIO is on, so you can set this on and off. I will show you later. So maybe we're gonna make an data inertial reference unit positioning, GPS positioning and inertial positioning using the laser gyroscope. It also contains laser gyroscopes for laser gyros for the attitude indicator and the inertial indication of the aircraft using the acceleration and deceleration rates of the aircraft. So we'll continue. Now we have the navigation display over here that displays the airports, the waypoints, the terrain. You can see the terrain level, 6,000 feet, 100 maximum and 0 feet minimum, with green, red and green, and we have the yellow intermediate levels. We have the rivers, the lakes, the sea. So we have the airports here displayed. Is over here, this area is Switzerland, here is France, over here France and Germany over here. So we're gonna fly close to Germany and France borderline after our takeoff. We're gonna overfly here this area and come back to Switzerland. So we also have other data. We're gonna make a flight plan using this computer, the flight management computer. The route of the aircraft I'm gonna show you later. So you also have other data. You have other aircraft flying around you. displayed using this system. The TICA system here, you can test is working. The traffic collision alert system using that uses the transporter. You can see the alert here for other aircraft flying around us. So you also have the weather radar and the terrain radar over here. We have the radio communication panel, the radio frequencies. So we also have the autopilot and flight director system panel. The autopilot and flight director system panel that contains the autopilot engage and disengage switches, the auto throttle, left and right engage and disengage switches, the flight director on and off engage and disengage switch, the airspeed select knob, and the airspeed mode guidance for the aircraft hold switches, like the climb continues, the auto thrust and speed mode, the climb continues or speed. So we have the fixed thrust for climb, maximum climb thrust, or idle thrust for descent, which is a fixed thrust mode, and also we have the variable thrust, the speed mode for cruising and for approach and landing. We also have the flight level change for changing altitude and speed, and we also have the LNAV and the VNAV functions, the lateral navigation and vertical navigation that we set up using the flight management computer guidance. We also have the bang angle limit and the heading hold and the heading select knob and the heading hold switch. We also have heading or track. We have also indicated airspeed or Mach, and the rate of vertical climb and descent of the aircraft in feet per minute, and the trigonometric angle in degrees, and the hold switch for this mode. We also have the altitude select knob and the altitude hold switch, and the VOR localizer for the Lszh localizer engage, and also the approach mode for the auto land function of this aircraft using the autopilot and director system panel. I will show you also the auto throttle system using the thrust levers. Also we have some engage and disengage switches over here, and the takeoff go around. So we have the auto throttle disengage over there in the thrust levers also, and the autopilot is connecting the control wheel of the aircraft. So I will show you also other systems alongside with that, like the stabilizer trim switch in the control wheel, and the stabilizer trim handles and the flaps setting. So I will continue right now. I will show you also this after this the autopilot system. I'll show you or alongside I will show you the thrust levers function. So I continue now with that. You can see so we have about an hour left for this flight. So this is the primary flight display, the navigation display, the autopilot flight director system panel here. So I will try, you can see we have the airspeed 200 knots, 10,000 feet and 360 is the heading of the aircraft displayed here, the target. So I will try to reset this in different values, maybe use the flight level change, engage switch here. The heading over here, I will select a different heading here. So I will select the heading of the runway and this level for the flight level change over here. This is depressible, so you can engage other modes. You can disengage it using the flight level, the flight director on and off. You also have the auto throttle left and right on and off, and the autopilot. So this is indicated airspeed or Mach over here. You can select either one. So this is the bang angle limit also reference. You can select this mode also or deselect it, and set a different altitude here, like 35,000. So you will see some modes now, the flight level change and the hold switch for the heading. You can select either heading or track here, and the altitude here, hold or switch. It's also depressible, either one. So you will see here we have the flight level change and the heading hold switch now. With this target, airspeed here 252 knots, and this target altitude 35,600, and the 136 is the heading. So this is the thrust levers. Here you're gonna see the disengage switch for the auto throttle here, the takeoff go around switch. So you disengage and use manual thrust like this. You also have the thrust reverse. I will show you later this. So you have the autopilot engage and disengage. We can change this mode to the altitude hold switch. So you have the altitude now instead of flight level change speed mode. The same other settings. So we can also select the vertical rate of climb and descent, and maybe you're gonna see we can descend the aircraft like 3,300 feet per minute using the slider up and down, or climb it using a plus. So you will see this mode now here, engaged VS, with the vertical rate of climb and descent and this switch here, this indication mark here of the rate of climb. Now we have the positive flight, engaged with the heading hold. So we can select either heading or this flight level change, and maybe we can set the autopilot flight director system panel like this with another mode, or we have to set the flaps levers here. The flap indication you can see now is 0. It's not indicated. So if I'm gonna move this down one notch, you will see it will start displaying we move the flaps down to the position of 1 degree down. So we can move them all the way like 5 degrees, 15 degrees, 30 degrees, 35 and 30 degrees down. So you will see the flaps moving down like this. Over here you can see also the landing gear. Here this down indication with the green light. This is for the landing gear of the aircraft. Here we have the alternate gear. We have the auto brakes here, rejected takeoff, and for landing, maximum landing. So you will see now we can engage the autopilot. Now we have set up because we have because we have an indication for not takeoff, for not using the autopilot unless we move the flaps down. So now we have the autopilot limits here for takeoff and for glide. So we have the heading hold and the flight level change speed. So you can see this is the pressable. We can change whatever value the airspeed we wish. So we have the LNAV, the VNAV, and here I told you also we have the vertical rate of climb at the same trigonometric degrees. So you can see the minus or the plus trigonometric degrees, like plus 2.3 degrees of climb here. So you have the FPA now, the flight path angle degrees. So also now we engage the autopilot here. I can use these switch over here or move this control wheel or column so it will disengage the autopilot. So you see the flight director now and this warning here that the autopilot is disconnect. So we can reset, we can engage the autopilot, we can disengage it like this here. So we move this handle down, so we'll see the autopilot disengage. We have the warning here and here display, autopilot disconnect. So you need to reset either the warning, re-engage the autopilot and disengage it again. You can do whatever other way works for you. So we set this like that. So here's the Hatsios electronic flight instrument panel. I will show you in another flight. So I will continue with some other systems now. You can see we also have the thrust levers and we have less pretty much than 1 hour for this flight. So I will continue now. I will have to show you the flight controls of the aircraft and make the engine start demonstration, the thrust levers, the flight controls, and the engine start demonstration. So I hope you like this Boeing 777-300 aeroplane. So I will clean now with the thrust levers. So you can move the thrust levers forward, you will see the thrust increase and the speed brakes disarm. I will do it one more time. You can see also the thrust reverse here. You can see the indications here. You can see the N1, which is the low speed, low pressure compressor stage of the turbofan turbojet engine, 32.2% idle, 104.6% maximum takeoff thrust, maximum continuous thrust. We have the exhaust gas temperature, the doors, the fuel pumps, the indications, so on. We have the duct pressure, the outflow valves from the engines, left and right engine, the cabin altitude rate, the landing altitude rate, the forward and aft outflow valves, and the total fuel in thousands of pounds. So we have the N2, which is the high speed, high pressure compressor stage of the turbofan engine, the fuel flow per engine per hour, the oil pressure, oil temperature, oil quantity, and the vibration of the N2 stage of the engine. So you have the flight management computer and multifunction display here on the upper and the lower ACAS. The thrust levers, you can see if I move forward the speed brakes disengage, and the thrust you can set it for the maximum takeoff. You can see the thrust lever position and the actual thrust that takes some time for the engine to spool out or spool down. So the N2 has less limits, has no yellow limit, it has only red limit. So the oil pressure and oil temperature limits red and yellow. So here we have the takeoff go around switch, we have the thrust levers disengage here. This switch here, the disengage for the thrust levers. So we have the takeoff go around, we have the thrust reverse here. You can engage the thrust reverse. You will see the speed brakes also over here. Extends automatically using the thrust reverse for slowing down the aircraft in landing. So you can see the reverse here displayed for the N1, and you have opened the thrust reverse blocker doors here for slowing down. the aircraft just after landing or in a rejected takeoff mode. So maybe I'll show you again how to engage the thrust reversers. You can see they are deployed. You can see the exhaust of the turbofan turbojet engine and the wings of the airplane. So I will show you another view here for the thrust reverse and re-engage the thrust reversers like this. You will see so we can go now, continue with the thrust reverse. I will show you the normal thrust modes and the engine functions, how to use the engines for flying the airplane. So this aeroplane, so you need to use the thrust levers in order to increase the thrust and to increase the fuel flow into the engine. You give a command to the FADEC, the full authority electronic control computers, one install per engine, dual channel function redundancy. If one channel fails, the other takes over. The controls, all the indications I show you for the engine. The full authority digital electronic control computers, one install per engine, and controls and monitors the functions of the engine, the limits like the N1, the low speed, low pressure compression stage of the turbofan turbojet engine, the exhaust gas temperature. It regulates the outflow pressure from the engines, so it won't overpressure the engines. It will relieve the pressure inside the engines and also supply the air conditioning and the cabin pressurization, the wing and engine SPIs and the hydraulic pressure. Also the N2, which is the high speed, high pressure compression stage of the engine, the fuel flow per engine per hour. So it optimizes the fuel burn and the flight altitude of the aircraft for optimum flight performance and fuel consumption, and also the oil quantity, temperature and pressure, and the vibration of the engine limit in inches either side. Like I think it's like 4 inches. So I will show you also. So you need to use the thrust levers like that in order to increase the thrust produced from the engine. So you move the aircraft forward. So you need to move the aircraft forward in order to accelerate and achieve an airspeed. Let's say for takeoff, you are in the runway. You need for this aircraft we have right now 254,000 kilograms of weight for takeoff. So if we're gonna use flaps 15 degrees and 4 degrees of nose pitch up for the horizontal tail elevator, we need to achieve an airspeed of about 270 kilometers an hour or 154 knots. We need to overcome the stall speed of the aircraft. The stall speed is an airspeed below which it's not lift produced from the airfoil, the wings of the aircraft, so the aircraft is going to fall back into the ground. We try to take off with less airspeed, or it's not going to take off at all. So also in the air we need to make a stall recovery. We reach the stall speed. So you need to accelerate using the propulsion from the turbofan turbojet engine, which only move the aircraft forward. You need to use the lift from the wings to move upwards, and also to actuate the flight controls to change direction. So you deflect the airflow around the flight controls of the aircraft, like the horizontal tail and the vertical tail on the ailerons and the spoilers. So more explanation about this airplane. I'm gonna use the Newton's first, second, and third law of kinematics, of physics, kinematics motion, and some aerospace and aeronautical engineering for some explanations and some mathematics. So you move the aircraft by means of action and reaction using the Newton's second law, I think, of motion. So you increase the fuel flow into the engine, you increase the spinning of the engine, the pressurized air intake, and the rate of the engine burn of fuel and air mixture. So you increase the hot gases expansion and injection from the exhaust of the engine, which produce the propulsion, the forward propulsion of the aircraft forward. You also have the bypasser, because this is a turbojet bypass for the Boeing 777-300 ER airplane. You can see here we move the thrust levers forward. We need to achieve an airspeed of 154 knots or 270 kilometers an hour approximately, just for takeoff, and then use the pits up for climbing, for start climbing. Slide it so you'll see the indication here not to exceed for takeoff the limits. So you can see one more time the thrust, the forward thrust limit, the speed brakes here, and the indications for takeoff. So I will show you how to make the engine start also. So this aircraft with this weight 254,000 kilograms, we have 30% of fuel, total fuel on board, about 46,000 kilograms or 102,000 pounds. So our weight is 254,000 kilograms or 520,000 pounds. And we also have 30,000 kilograms of passenger cargo or 46,000 pounds. So 254,000 kilograms. Total weight, we need 154 knots or 270 kilometers an hour just for takeoff to overcome the stall speed, to have an effective lift from the forward wings, to make the aircraft start climbing into the air. The lift is the force that overcomes the weight of the aircraft, the mass times the acceleration of the gravity that pulls the aircraft down to the ground, and also we need to overcome the stall speed that is also going to make the aircraft fall back into the ground. So the stall speed is for a given airfoil during an angle of attack as the aircraft flies through the air mass. It's going to make the airfoil, the wing of the aircraft is going to stall for a given angle of attack through the airflow of the mass, through the jet stream of the air. Actually, it's gonna stall. It's not gonna produce enough lift to hold the aircraft in the air. So I will explain this now. I'll show you the forward wings, the airfoil of the aircraft. So we have like. So we have like 45 minutes left for this flight. So we did most part of this. I will show you now the flight controls. Is this control column, and I will explain you a little bit. I will show you a little bit the outside view now. So you can see here we have the forward wings are responsible for creating the aerodynamic lift of the aircraft. And also for deflecting the airflow of the mass, the airflow of the air, not of the mass. Excuse me. So you can see we have the leading edge of the aircraft and the trailing edge. So the jet stream of the air, that's what we need. So you can see that bottom surface of the wings is more flat than the top surface. So you can see the bottom surface of the wings is more flat, so the air travels slower using the Bernoulli's principle of physics instead of the Newton's. We use Newton's alongside with that, Newton's physics. So you can see the air because the surface of the wings is more flat below the wing, and it's more curved above the wing. It has more curvature. So the airflow is more pressurized below the wing. We have higher air pressure below the wing, and we have lower air pressure above the wing. So we have differential pressure between the bottom surface of the wings and the top surface of the wings, from the leading edge all the way back to the trailing edge. And this is what produces the aerodynamic lift component that overcomes the weight of the aircraft as the aircraft flies through the air. it creates a jet stream of air through the wings, all the way from the forward nose to the tail of the aircraft. So you also have the jet stream from the engines, from the turbofans that move the aircraft forward, that propels the aircraft forward, and also the intake from the turbofan engine. So you have this nice engine for the Boeing 777 aircraft. You have also the flight controls that actuate the flow of the air, that deflect the air. You can use them for slowing down the aircraft or for changing the direction as the aircraft is flying. So you have directional control. So you also have the horizontal tail here of the aircraft. You can see the distance the horizontal tail has from the center of gravity, which is the geometric center of mass of the aircraft, and also the center of gravity. So you have the moment arm. The moment arm force is times the distance from the center of gravity all the way back to the horizontal tail elevator. So you have effective flight controls here. So you can climb the aircraft or you can descend by deflecting the airflow, the mass of the air as the air moves through the wings of the aircraft. So you do the same using the vertical stabilizer for moving the aircraft left and right, and also balancing the aircraft, and also as I told you, bang roll. You can bang the aircraft in the side. So you have this performance. You have the lever arm is the force that is equal the distance from the center of gravity all the way back to the horizontal tail over the surface area. The airflow here over the surface area of the wing, the vertical or the horizontal stabilizer wing, times per second times the acceleration of gravity. So you have the lever arm. So you can see the forward wings. I told you also you have the mean aerodynamic chord that is about 35% of the wing chord. You can have the 50%, 75 or 100% of the wings. So usually it's 35% is the center of maximum aerodynamic lift and pressure, and also where the stall is being calculated, and also you have the center of gravity calculation. So you input the center of gravity of the aircraft when you make an aircraft. So you usually position it somewhere around here, and you can move it forward or up. So you can have a forward center of gravity or an off center of gravity by shifting passengers and cargo, and also fuel around the aircraft, so consuming some fuel from the fuel tank. So you make the aircraft more stable in flight. So this is pretty much the explanations for that. Also, you know how to use the flight controls. We have a few more minutes for that. So you can see I'm having this control column and control wheels for the flight control. First, show you in the wings of the airplane. You will have the display also over here. So I'm using also this. So you know I'm using one second. So I'm using this side stick over here for controlling the aircraft in flight, the Logitech Extreme 3D. I also had to input the flight control command. So you have directional control of the aircraft in flight. You can climb, descend, or bang roll, or you're using the rudder pedals for the vertical stabilizer. So you can see here we have the flight controls. We have the control column here on the control wheel. So you can pitch up and pitch down, and also bang roll left and bang roll right. You have the rudder pedals. So you can climb, you can descend, and also bang roll in flight, and use the other ones, the spoilers, the elevator, or the vertical tail over here. So this is for the control of this airplane. You can have also the stabilizer trim here. nose beats up or nose beats down, and the flap settings and the thrust levers here. So you move the thrust levers forward. So you have the full control of the airplane. So I will continue now show you the outside view. So you can see the position of the side stick is pretty much proportional to the position of the control yoke of the Boeing 777-300ER aeroplane. So you have this beautiful jetliner here, this airplane. So you can climb, you can descend, and also you can bank roll left and right. So also now the outside view, you can see also the first officers here control column, and we go outside now. We have the same kind of principles here too. So you can see here we have the controls of the airplane again. One more time, we have the pitch up, the pitch down, the rudder pedals, the ailerons. So I will show you now the outside view of using the side stick for controlling, for giving the elevator and the rudder pedals, and also the ailerons and the spoilers, how to control the aircraft using the side stick for control yoke of the Boeing airplane. So you can see here I'm having again the same side stick. I'm using through the whole simulation from takeoff to landing during the whole flight process. So I'm flying pretty much with that. So you can climb, descend, bank roll left, bank roll right using the rudder pedals, the thrust levers, and also the stabilizer trim. So you can see the thrust levers also position. You can position as much as you want. So hope you like it. You can see I'm having here the control of the airplane flight controls over here. So you can climb, you can descend, and also you can turn the aircraft around left and right using the vertical rudder, and the elements and the spoiler. So I extend the speed brake so you can see better the spoiler's view of the aircraft. So I hope you like this view of the airplane flight controls. Now we'll have to come inside and do the engine start demonstration for now. So this is how you fly the aircraft. Using the thrust from the engines to accelerate to an airspeed for takeoff and then fly. So we'll continue with the rest of the systems. I have a couple more systems to show you. So inside here so we have like 28 more minutes for this flight. I need to be a little bit faster, not having the time to show you everything. So here we have the stabilizer trim on and off, normal and cut out for the horizontal tail stabilizer. You have the pitch trim, the normal and the alternate, and here is the cutout for the elevator electric trim for the autopilot, and the autopilot is one hydraulic system fails. So here is the parking brakes on and off. Here's the stabilizer trim of the aircraft position. Here's the nose up or nose down, and we use this switch here in the control wheel You also have the aileron trim here, and the rudder trim and the aileron control here. You can see the position of the aileron trim and the rudder trim. The radio communication panel, it tells you the radar, the transponder, the autopilot. So you have the overhead panel. I have to come now here over view for this view for 1 second. So maybe use this also, some lights, and do the engine start demonstration. So we have the overhead upper panel, the ADIR, we have the electrical. We're gonna start the APU now. This is in the start position. I'm gonna start the auxiliary power unit. So you have the left and the right engine driven IDGs, the great drive generators. So you can see the IDGs. We have the left and the right engine. The left and the right engine of the aircraft also drives some other systems like with the great drive generators, the IDT. You can see here we have the left engine driven and the right engine driven, the backup generators for alternate current. The engine will drive the hydraulic system pumps, the left and the right engine driven, and the backup hydraulics, and also the rammer turbine that exists in case we have a failure of an engine. For hydraulic power we have the window heat and electrical power, also the ground proximity runway, the primary flight control computers with the thrust asymmetry compensators here. So you have the battery on, the APU generator, and the bus tie switches. So this is a general view of the overhead panel. General view, and also you have here's the electrical, the hydraulics, the flight control computers, the ADIR data and service reference units, some other systems, the fuel tanks and fuel pumps, the fuel jettison, the electronic engine control and auto start for the engines, and the cabin pressurization and the pressurized air from the outflow valves. So you have also the wing and engine at the ice over here system. You can set also the left and the right wing pumps and the crossfeed pumps and valves, and also the crossfeed valves, no pumps. So you have the center pumps, also the center tank which is empty right now, so you display this indication for a fault, and also you have the electronic engine control, the auto start here for the engine. You can set for starting the engine. We have the cargo and APU fire extinguishers, the fuel jettison, we can dump fuel in flight to lower the aircraft weight, the wing and engine at the ice, some lightings here, the windshield wiper. So you have the pressurization system. So you start with the pressurization using the pressurized air from left and right engine systems here. So you will see this is the pressurizer from the outflow valves of the engine. So if I turn off this and the packs, so you have all the systems here in the fault mode. It will display on the indications here the bleed isolation loss, and this system is malfunctioning. So you have no pressurization for the cabin pressurization now, not that pressure. By closing these switches, and also you have you need the pressurizer using the APU for starting the engine. Also, so this is for isolating the system. So you can have the APU also on and off. So this is the cabin pressurization in the manual. Now if you use the outflow valves controllers, climb and descend for pressurize with the pressurized aircraft as you climb in the center, you select landing altitude, so you need the pressurizer from the APU here for starting either left and right engine when we're gonna turn off the engines. So this is the more explanations. You can see here is the hydraulic system pumps here, so you can turn on and off. I will show you in another flight in more detail how to do that, and also the electric. Now we have the APU on, so you can turn off the main generator. So you will see the generators are off, electric generator, backup system, off left and off right. So you have a more general view inside the aircraft. Here you can see the switches. So you can see here is the autopilot panel, more nicer view, and also the primary side display control front here, some other systems. You see the parking brake up and down. So I'm gonna come now over here. We need to make the engine start demonstration. So we have a couple more minutes. This is the display of the system. So you have the engine, you have the status, the APU now is on and running. So you have the checklist here. You have the normal menu, or you have before start what we do, the normal items. For starting the aircraft engine, you have the non-normal menu here. If an engine fails, for instance, you have an engine failure, you have the communications here, the navigation, the synoptics here. So you have in the synoptics, you can see the doors of the aircraft here are closed. As you can see, the doors are closed and the cabin can be pressurized. So you can monitor this. You can see the landing gear and the nose wheel, the temperature of the brakes and the pressure inside the tires. So you have the electrical, the left and the right engine driving, I told you. The main battery volts. Also the APU battery. So you have the backup generators and the APU generator we're gonna use for starting the engine. We have the hydraulic pressure, the left and right engine driving, the backup generators, the consumption of the hydraulic fluid over here for flight controls and other systems. This is the left engine, demand and shut-off valves, the primary and demand, the fuel system here, left and right wing, and also the flow of the fuel and the engine's low and high pressure valve. The APU, also the sender, tank and the transfer. So you have the air system here that I showed you in the overhead panel. You can see the left and the right engine outflow valves. The APU we're going to use for starting the engines. And the temperature of, we need the pressurizer for many systems. So here we have the flight controls also for controlling the aircraft. So you can see the flight controls here, which have the controls of the aeroplane. The other ones, the spoilers, the rudder pedals. So this is the general view. I come now in the virtual cockpit. I'm gonna turn off both engines. So we're gonna have a few more minutes to go. Turn off both engines. So I'm coming here in the mode, I'm coming back into the engine mode. You're gonna see the fuel flow is 0. You can see the reconfiguration here. We have the N1 going down to almost 0. The exhaust gas temperature decreasing and the engine start message. So the fuel flow, you can see the N2 is decreasing and the fuel flow is almost 0. So we have a few more minutes to go, like 18 more minutes. So we have the left and the right wing engine. So you can see the engine is coming down to a stop. So I'm coming in the overhead panel. You can see the engines are completely stopped now, and start them automatically using the auto start system function. So I'm gonna set both auto start on. Come here, monitor the function. So you're gonna see the N1 increase, the pressurized air. You can see the indications again one more time for the system. The N2 increases above 20%. The fuel flow is 0. So you have the spinning of the engines, but you have no fuel flow yet. So you can see, you can monitor this spinning of the left and the right wing engine. So you can see the left wing engine here will start spinning. So we're gonna start the engine now. We can start the fuel flow using the levers here. The fuel cutout levers forward. So you're gonna see the N2 and the fuel flow increase rapidly. So the fuel flow is 0, it goes above 1, and so we have both engines start, the right and the left wing. So here we go. We can now set the aircraft for takeoff. So we set the flaps here for takeoff limit. Come here, set up the flight plan. Just having 1 minute more for this. We do it very fast. So it's the menu. We have the FMC, the model, the position, initialize. You have the reference airport and the inertial reference at inertial position, GPS position. So initial, we have the zero fuel weight, gross weight, the fuel calculation, the reserve calculations, the cost index 100%, the route from this airport, Lszh, back to this airport, Lszh again, using this runway 14. So you have the legs here, so you can set the departure from this runway using this departure V2 alpha, and coming back into this runway LS14, this Negri on alpha trans summit. So you have the legs, you activate and execute. So the FMC will show you the legs you're gonna fly through. You can override these legs if you want to fly manually. So you have the flap settings and the center of gravity for takeoff. With these calculations for V1, V2, V takeoff. So we are ready for takeoff now with this beautiful airplane, this beautiful aircraft. So we go taxi to the runway, disarm the parking brakes, and go. We have like 18 more minutes left for this flight. So you can see I'm using also this filler for the nose wing of the aircraft steering. So here we are into the runway. Just align with the runway center line. So you set up, you have the displays here set up, better view here, the autopilot set for takeoff, all the indications, so you see them displayed over here. You have the flaps at 15 here and the pitch altitude of the aircraft and horizontal tail. So we go in the outside view again. We can monitor where we are. So it doesn't need to take off. So set up the thrust levers forward for takeoff. All the way forward. So you will see the engine's indications for takeoff limit over here up to the 90%. So we disarm the parking brakes and go. We have like 18 more minutes for this flight. So align with the center line here, using the rudder pedals now. So we have 100 knots. V1, we rotate, it's up slightly, and V2 going for takeoff. So we exceeded the V2. So you can see we keep climbing. We have positive rate of climb here. We're just 500-700 feet above the ground level. You can retract the landing gear now. Done with that. So we are 1,700, 2,200 feet above the ground, but 3,000, 4,000 feet above the sea level. We climb with 8,000 feet per minute. The airspeed is 200 knots or about 360 kilometers an hour. The ground speed 185, and here's the stall speed that I was telling you we need to avoid, so we decrease the rate of climb to increase the airspeed to achieve some kinetic energy. By decreasing the rate of climb, you increase the airspeed by having the appropriate thrust component over here. So you can see the stall speed here. You can see how we climb hard over here. We have the climb of the aircraft. So we need to get some turn over here. So we cross 8,000 feet right now. 211 knots. So we're going to the next waypoint, the Zui. So we cross this area now and stabilize the aircraft climb. So it's a nice outside view. We have like 15 more minutes left to go for this flight with this beautiful airplane. So you can see the view of the runway. So you can see these beautiful wings we have here for the Boeing 777 as we keep climbing. We have this beautiful view here. We fly right now with 500 kilometers an hour or about 250 meters a second, overflying Zurich and Switzerland with this beautiful airplane, this beautiful aircraft. So the Boeing 777 300 direct. So you can see the view of the sky, the star sign. So this is our spacecraft tonight, the Boeing 777. Another view of the aircraft here. So we keep climbing 16,000 feet. So we have 5 and 6. We have like 12 minutes left for this flight. I need to climb a little bit faster. Maybe use the flight simulator increase mode. So line the simulation with higher rate. So we're gonna be overflying this level here and set the direct to over here. So we have waypoint. We are at 30,000 feet right now. Set these landing also limits here. So we stabilize here in this altitude with airspeed Mach 0.441 or about 600 kilometers an hour. I need to disarm this auto thrust system. And so I'm gonna use maximum thrust to take for climbing through this point over here. So So we climbed through 33,000 feet. So here we have the chemtrails and the contrails of the airplane. So we're gonna balance somewhere here as we fly. We have also the Germany, the beautiful Germany in front of us, the Bayern Munich region in the Bavarian Alps. So here we have the St. Gallen Lake of the Switzerland with the Swiss Alps region. So this is our spacecraft for tonight. We fly with about 600 kilometers an hour or 270 meters per second for this airplane, 35,000 feet above the sea level. So I'm coming back. We need to stabilize somewhere around here and also start our approach now back into the airport. So we track the flaps here. So I'm gonna stabilize and increase the thrust setting here, the commanded thrust and airspeed. So I'm stabilizing manually here, 35,000 feet, Mach 0.55 as you can see, Mach speed. So we're going back into the airport now. As we overflying over the Swiss Alps, and we have pretty much like a few more minutes left to go for this flight. So we have the Swiss Alps here, we have the Germany, and we have like 8 or 9 more minutes for this flight. So you can see the frozen vapors here, the chemtrails and the contrails, as we fly with about 700, 800, and now 900 kilometers an hour. So 900 kilometers an hour, we're flying the Germany, Switzerland borderline. So I hope you like this beautiful view of the Boeing 777, the frozen vapors here, 300 meters a second. So we're gonna stabilize here and turn back into the airport. So we fly 6,000 meters above the ground level with 900 kilometers an hour or about 300 meters a second. And we are so stable, and we have the chemtrails and the beautiful night view of the sky. So this is our spacecraft for tonight. This beautiful airplane, the Boeing 777-300 ERS. So we need to turn back into the airport. I'm gonna turn using like this. Also connect the autopilot now and the flight level here. So I'm gonna command this. We have the flap settings and the reference. So we need only this. It should be in go. We have so we need to use simulation acceleration now for going faster into the airport. So we keep descending, we adjust about we have like 30 more minutes left to go. So we get closer into the airport. 35,000 feet, so we are stable here with the autopilot connected. Because of how stable we are. So we're flying Switzerland, Zurich and Germany. So we have the start sign also. I'm gonna start descending now the airplane into the runway for landing. So I will set a new altitude here, 2,000 feet, and select the vertical rate of flying in the sun, 2,000. and decrease the airspeed. With the you can use some speed brakes also. You can see the thrust is being commanded automatically here to the idle. So you have a little bit of overspeed, but it's not a problem. It was 22,000 feet. We have about 5 more minutes left for this flight. So we got two persons connect the other pilots here. So we're gonna use the approach mode also. How do we keep descending? So we keep descending down into the airport. So we overflying the river here, 15,000 feet. Use the landing gear down. So we have about 4 more minutes left for this flight. So we have to use the flat setting also, and decrease the airspeed to the landing airspeed. So we cross the river here. We're coming closer into the runway. We have maybe like 3 more minutes left to go for this flight. So you can see we are closer into the ground now, to the runway heading over here, over the river. So we also have a nicer view for landing here. So we cross the river, and we have like a couple more minutes left actually. Couple more minutes left for this flight. Is the maximum maybe. So we have the Lszh localizer here on. So we're gonna land with about 300 kilometers an hour, 320, 330 kilometers an hour. So we have 1 minute left for this flight. We have the Lszh localizer on. So we're gonna make a steep landing using the steep landing mode. And we're gonna balance somewhere here. Level off here for the flare with about 300 kilometers an hour. Here we are. Ready? Then just touch down. Parking brakes and reverse thrust. Full reverse. So you can see we just touched down the runway. with about 300 kilometers an hour or higher, maybe 320. So you can see we have the nose wheel here is normal. There is no breakage. It's the nose wheel, all the tires, and also the